Hestia is going over Belle's stats, remembering they've been through a lot, with plenty of pathetic moments where people would joke on their failures. Just as Belle's beginning to feel more confident in his abilities, a more formidable opponent would appear and take him down. But the boy kept his dream of being a hero intact, with him coming a long way, reaching level 4, with his loss triggering his rank up. He begins talking to Fells, who wants to know what he plans on doing now. Belle remains unchanged, wanting to further explore the dungeon to become stronger. Felds feels like he's being a little hesitant here. Felds believes that the future him and Eranos strive for is gone, because there's no possible way for humans and demi-humans to live together. He tells Belle that he has to travel all the way to the bottom of the dungeon if he's serious about offering his assistance. This causes Belle to ask what's on those floors, with there being a covenant. Ian is being catcalled by 2 dungeon crawlers, with this being a dwarf and an elf. Ian is trying to convince them not to explore the dungeon's lower floors to get her a gift. Ian walks in Belle, with Ian's whole demeanor changing as she greets him. Ian called Belle over, blushingly give him a letter, but these two thinking it's a love letter. The Hestia Familia has been tasked as an exploration Familia, but Hestia is already regretting signing up since they'll be given these busy work missions. She did it for preferential treatment. The Familia has to break their previous dungeon exploration record and bring back some items. Yamato travels to the Takamichizuki Familia in order to solicit their participation in this trip, and they accept her request. Lily asks Daphne and Cassandra, who are with Micah's Familia, if they could come along as well, with Daphne relaying that they'll join them for logistical support as well as to secure some items, and they start to go over the information and their expertise. Daphne being known as a jack of all trade, they're usually having multiple roles, but mostly serving as a guard. But even with that, she's still not as valuable as Cassandra, with her being a level 3 healer. Lily mentions that Aisha will be coming along, with this worrying Daphne, based on her past guild being Ishtar. Aisha somehow found out about this and came barging into their home, demanding that she come along. Hestia didn't have a valid reason to reject her offer, so she put her on the team. The topic of discussion was shifted more towards how easily they'll be able to reach the middle floors if they have 2 level 4s leading the way. Daphne agrees that makes sense, but points out how silly it's going to be having a level 1 supporter around, with this being Lily, with the girl being useless in any combat situation. So to compromise, she asks that the girl become the strategist, giving out helpful guides to the rest of the party members. Daphne used to be a strategist for the Apollo Guild, with her not liking the role, but knowing that it is important in battle. Explaining how Finn in the Loki Familia is the undisputed leader who directs the others, mentioning that he's crazy strong, but also the strategist. Meanwhile, Mikado and Takamichizuki have a sparring match, where the god does not hold anything back. She was then given a lecture that was meant to encourage her to continue developing her strategies and skills, inspiring Chigusa to join the brawl. At the same time, Oko travels to Wealth in order to request that he make him a crafting weapon, this being something that he doesn't normally do for anyone. At the same moment, Aisha closes all the drapes and shuts the door, about to put Haruhime through a special training drill. Aisha reminds her that if she intends on going, she's going to be the biggest burden, with her being the biggest pushover, with this making the Fox girl very sad, with the girl only able to produce 1 level up boost, and then she collapses, saying she's going to need to learn some new magic spells and some proper casting. Haruhime mentions how time-consuming and rigorous magic casting is, but Aisha slams a book on the table and says that's why we're going to cheat, giving her a grimoire. In the Adventurers Guild private rooms, Belle is studying the dungeon lair his party will be facing. Anna compliments his attention to detail, calling him a first-rate adventurer now. Belle thanks her for all that she's done for him so far, recognizing that she's been teaching him this entire time, with Anna admiring his improvement in such a short time, liking boys like him. At a tavern, the gods share a drink, with their children doing all the preparation work, leaving them to do nothing else, calling it pride or some heat around their heart, devolving into Hestia being obsessed with Belle. When the day of the assignment has finally arrived, Wolf hand delivers his new weapon to Oka, providing Belle with a brand new weapon as well, known as Hakujin, which is crafted from a horn of a unicorn. Deep in the dungeon, Lily starts to direct them with some information, having the casters in the back with her. Wolf and Oka enter. As he's finishing off the nest, everyone stops for a moment to look. Aisha tells them to stay focused and to keep going. Afterwards, Chigusa asks why are they destroying parts of the terrain as they're going along. With Oka not knowing the reason either, Belle explains it's because the dungeon is in of itself a living thing, with its body naturally opting to heal itself rather than send out more monsters, with it stopping more swarms of monsters to come after them. Both of them are amazed by his knowledge, admiring him for it. Cassandra does the same thing, blushing, mentioning how different he was back in the war games. Haruhime looks at him, with her being worried. When the two of them are alone, they talk about this. She was worried he wouldn't be able to defeat monsters after the Xenos. Belle decides that it's better for him to be a hypocrite so that he can be the best hero he can possibly be. Lily looks at them, with her feeling down. Wolf reminds her that her job is to be the supporter and to constantly be chasing after Belle, with them still having the time to tease her a little bit. Aisha likes how his presence makes the other people around him feel better, with the group making it this far to level of 24 because of him. In their tent, Daphne reviews Lily's progression, liking her improvement as a strategist, saying that she needs to account for the worst possible scenario. Meanwhile, Cassandra is talking to Chigusa, with the girl having a scary dream where green moss grew and ate them. No matter how scared she is, Chigusa would just rather sleep it off and relax. Bell gets up for his shift, them switching out with Aisha. Aisha comments on how the entire party relies on him, but gives him a fair warning, saying they rely on him too much, with the next side of the dungeon being a completely different beast. If he were to fall, the rest of the party wouldn't make it. On the 25th floor, it's known as the Great Fall, with it being surrounded by water. Aisha warns them there's no chance of them possibly surviving if they fall, so they need to watch their steps. Lily does a quick review on the mission, with them needing to retrieve 10 shells of blue crabs, 3 fins from aqua serpents, or 30 fangs from a raider fish. They could also offer a rare monster that has some type of mystical crystals of the carbuncles. With them already completing the floor requirements and beating their previous record, Lily opts that they should spend the next couple of days getting used to this level, using level 24 as their camp. Finally mentioning, the Familia had to spend an extraordinary amount of money for all the new members' anti-water equipment and weapons, except for Aisha, with this making the new members feel a little bit down because of how much they spent on them. Aisha makes them feel slightly better by saying that if everything goes as planned, they'll make back the money easily. Next, some blue crabs appear, and most of them are scared at first, but they're easily defeated. Afterwards, Wolf admits that it was a bit anticlimactic, with him thinking that it would be a little bit tougher. Cassandra and Haruhime look downwards at the water stream. Aisha warns them how the monsters here aren't individually strong, but what makes this place so dangerous is the terrain, with a water monster randomly popping out the water, attack them, with this explaining her point. Luckily, Makoto was able to defeat it in 2 seconds. Aisha compliments her for being able to protect Haruhime on a moment's notice. As they keep exploring, Bell and Welf see some undergold, with this being a great crafting material that is only grown here. Welf wants to go get some to bring back to his goddess, but Lily reminds him about how the monsters were underneath the water. Aisha makes one comment about how valuable undercoal is, with it being a small fortune, and she completely switches her tone, now wanting them to acquire it. Bell and Makoto are the fastest members, being the best suited for this task. As Makoto is about to make it back across, a sea monster appears from above, attacking, and it looks pretty bad, but she's able to counteract it with a somersault kick. When they get further down, they see Mr. Lufus, being the elf that Bell saw the first day. Mr. Lufus is begging for help, having lost his arm in battle. Behind him is a green moss creature, being the one that Cassandra saw in her dreams. Bell rushes in, and the two begin their battle. The moss is an enhanced species, being like nothing else they've come across before. Lufus shouts at them to avoid it, with a using needle arm, forcing them to take cover. Chigusa goes down, with it spreading an ingrown moss into her body. The green moss is a carnivore, eating the cores of monster crabs, with this being food for it. With its storing wounded adventurers, Cassandra diagnoses that the moss has penetrated the body, sapping out the nutrients. Any vine cut will just make it grow faster. With it being a parasite, Bell asks her what's her idea about the best way to save her. She says that they can go back and try to get some more help from a more experienced healer, or defeat the source of the implanted seeds. Bell wants to have a healthy conversation on the matter, but I wanted to hear some more opinions. They come up with the species name being Moss Huge, with most agreeing to go back, seeing how it's able to keep up with Bell, making it a very hard monster to track, fighting it making more monsters want to join in. Mr. Lufus weighs in, with him originally opting as a decoy for his party to get away from the monster, with Moss Huge after the monster stones they had. Aisha gives her thoughts on the matter, seeing that they have no choice but to eliminate it. Either they defeat it, or some other exploration team is going to come along and defeat it for them. Makoto, Oka, and Welf agree to take it out. Aisha still wonders, how has no one come across it yet? Mr. Lufus admits the thing that they're dealing with is very crafty, only taking the fights that it can win. They follow a trail of blood to see his comrades near a statue. Aisha tells them not to move with this being a trap. Lily decides that Bell and Aisha will be the ones to fight Moss Huge, while Welf, Makoto, and Oka are to defeat any of the ordinary monsters that get in the path and save the elves. Aisha agrees with this plan, but says the others should just go to the larger room, with this place about to be very messy. They're warned not to get any closer, as they've all been tricked. The moss appears, attacking their backline. Luckily, Bell is fast enough to run back there to keep it at bay. Bell uses Firebolt and realizes that the monster is scared of magical attacks. As he pushes forward, the moss uses Underground Vine to drag Bell into the water. The monster is able to survive, but Bell isn't. Lily is distraught, trying to run after Bell, but Daphne stops her. Aisha takes charge from this, making it clear that no one's to go after Bell, with him being the best here when it comes to survival instincts, ensuring that he should be fine. Bell is able to survive this, but now seabirds are attacking him, but there being hundreds of small bullet-like monsters attacking him. When he finishes them off, he hears a mermaid clapping, with this being Mari. This is where we're gonna leave off in today's video. If you like today's video, here's another one just like it, so go check it out. I'll be breaking down this anime into multiple parts. Now if you like the video, why not subscribe to the channel? I'll be uploading daily videos just like this one, so I'll see you next time.